You have saved us millions. How can we ever repay you? Here's a $20 gift voucher, by user lazy_worker123. Several years ago, I got called into a panicked meeting because something had been sent out to all stockholders with the wrong email domain. Entire chaos because it could mean millions of dollars of fines from the regulators. While there was mass panic, I jumped online and checked if the domain they had used was available. It was, so I bought it then and there, and then added that domain added to our email system. Told them to calm down, and that I had resolved their issue. Fast forward a few weeks, I have been repaid for my initial outlay, and I get invited to a presentation. At that presentation, they gave me a lot of kudos for finding a solution so quickly, and acting on it, thereby saving the company millions. They then gave me a $20 prepaid credit card. Yet, I would have been happier with just the certificate they gave me. $20 didn't even pay for lunch that day. Edit: this was not an email that was sent out. It was printed material which contained invalid contact details in a highly regulated financial industry. The printer isn't working, by user Marinke00. I work as an IT support team lead. We have a typical office building of a few floors. Each floor has its own printer. On one hectic day I'm trying to do inventory on the IT department's floor. I'm in the middle of scrounging for all sorts of technical assets, that my barcode reader can get its filthy red line onto, when suddenly I hear the audible sound of high heels clacking on the floor and by the sounds of it, lost. The person opened a random door, that happened to belong to the brand new Director of Infrastructure Bureau, and exclaimed that their floor printer was not working. The director, confused, sent the person down the hall, saying that maybe you'll have more luck there. They turned the corner and looked at me, still lost. I asked them what was wrong with the printer, did it show any error codes or anything along those lines. The answer was an unknowing I don't know. It hasn't worked for the past 4 years. Now I'm confused. There aren't any broken printers on that person's floor, not to mention the whole building. I asked them to show me the process of them printing a file. We go to their office, they log in and are immediately faced with an overcrowded desktop. Alas, that is not issue at hand. They open up MS Word, writes in test, saves and then closes the document. They start getting up from their chair and try to bring me to the printer. I add, all right, now we just need to print it. They look at me even more confused. I just did? The file should be printing right now, if the printer worked. In short, I sit them down, introduce to them the printing function and leave, wondering how is it possible that they haven't needed to print before for 4 years, only to conclude that the printer that is worrying daily with documents, must be broken. Yes, we have a mail retention policy, by user Rankoku_Tayan. I need to go on a small rant about this. Is there a flare for this? I get this same ticket about once a month, and I came in on the early shift this morning to 2 of them from 2 different people, both of whom should know better. For context, I'm a frontline help desk monkey for a university in the UK. We have a 2-year retention policy for emails. After 2 years the email is automatically deleted and cannot be recovered by any means. Full stop. No wiggle room. The staff welcome packet includes this information. The IT help page on our website states this information, the staff wiki states this information twice, in 2 different places. Outlook itself, every time you log in, has a yellow banner at the top reminding you of this. It's not even a new policy. It's been in place since at least 2014. How many different times, in how many different ways do we have to tell people? Your emails will be deleted after 2 years and we cannot recover them after this. And yet, 2 different members of staff, one of whom is a lecturer, submitted tickets this morning asking for help accessing old emails from 2020. I directed them to the wiki page that explains the retention policy and includes a guide on how to download and save important emails. Our policy doesn't allow for in-place archives. They were at least both polite about it when I informed them. In September I had the same ticket from a member of the finance department and he was absolutely incensed. He went on a tirade at me about information security, auditing and record keeping, then demanded to speak to my manager when I refused, because it's literally impossible to recover an important financial document he was keeping in an email from 5 years ago. WTF, why would you store important documents in an email? Why wouldn't you have it saved and then backed up? And how important is it really if you haven't looked at it in the last 3 years since it was deleted? When my manager inevitable told him the same thing, he escalated to the department head, and then kept going. Last I heard he submitted a formal complaint to the Board of Governors demanding that the policy be changed. Edit, I've just checked, and the policy doesn't apply to the departmental mailboxes for finance or HR, only to users' individual mailboxes. Number 2 ISP in the country called me looking for help fixing their network, by user Enstra Classic. So I work for a small MSP. There's 4 of us on the team and we manage under 1,000 computers. Last week one of our customers reported a lot of internet issues that apparently has been going on for a long time, but got really bad after a storm a couple weeks ago. I did my usual internal network testing and everything looked good, started up a ping plotter capture to Google and immediately saw the problem. One of the ISP's nodes was failing miserably, latency was spiking up to like 4 kms and packet loss was over 15%. Immediately called the ISP and the first rep I talked to had no idea what I was trying to tell him. He thought I was a lunatic because he could ping my client's modem and didn't understand how the internet or their own infrastructure worked at all. After 30 minutes of arguing with him, I made sure he included the failing node's IP in his notes and gave up as it was 5 p.m. and time to go home at that point. First thing the next morning I called back and requested a team leader. The team leader actually believed what I was saying, but didn't know what to do because he can only dispatch text to a client's site and the tab/first node hop. He said he'd have dispatch call back to schedule a tech to come out. This was Thursday. I never got the call and found out Monday that they scheduled themselves to go out, brought down my client's entire network for over 2 hours while doing who knows what in their server room and left without fixing anything. Had another tech meet me there Monday night and again, the tech believed me, but didn't have clearance to work on anything other than the client's immediate nodes. Annoyingly, he got locked out after he left to do some testing at the tab because everyone in the office left for the day without telling us, and I was working in the server room so didn't hear him trying to get back in neutral phase. Flash forward to Tuesday, I had yet another tech meet me at my client's site. At this point I'm so over it, I showed him my tests, he showed me his. We determined my client's issues were a combination of the modem's TX being a little low and the node in question being very noisy. He replaced the modem and installed a splitter to give it a little power boost. I ran more tests and my client was no longer seeing packet loss, but the node was still fucked up and causing latency spikes, but not enough for it to really impact my client as long as their TX power stayed high. Called it a day and went home. The next day the ISP's regional field supervisor called my office and spoke to my dispatcher asking for me. Apparently they've been getting a large number of calls from customers in the area and can't figure out what's going on. He said something like, according to our notes your tech was the one that ran the tests and found the problem. So he wants me to call him back so I can help them find the failing node. I wonder how much it's worth to them. Just when you think you've covered all of your bases, clients have ways to throw a spanner into the works, by user Joey Josie. I've been busy at work creating a web-based system for one of our clients to use in their warehouse. They have industrial equipment manufactured in China and then shipped over by the container load. They needed a way to easily scan delivery notes and then scan their equipment so that the equipment serial numbers are matched with the orders so they know when their warranty starts. Initially I created a system that uses a smartphone camera to scan the QR codes. I got them to send their design files as well as pictures of their existing labels, tested extensively, thought I covered all bases. When we finally finished the application, I provided instructions on how to use it and off they went to test. Challenge 1, they had problems in dark corners of the warehouse. Solution, I made changes to the application, it would now work better in low light. Challenge 2, their next few batches of products were then shipped with tiny 10x10mm QR codes. Solution, I made the application zoom in digitally to the QR codes, now it would scan better again. Challenge 3, the next batch of QR codes started to come in a completely different format, having random fields added like the company's website mixed in with the data. Solution, I update the code to filter out these random fields. Challenge 4, they start to struggle more with the low light/tiny barcode issues since it went into winter and less sunlight through the windows of the warehouse. Solution, I recommend a proper handheld scanner that uses a Zebra module. I update the code, test extensively, can now scan their tiny barcodes from more than a meter distance. I'm super confident that this will be the end of all the problems. I deliver it to the client, they pull out one of their latest products to test with the new QR scanner, it doesn't scan. They've only gone and changed their white backed labels to reflective metallic labels that have no chance of scanning on anything.